Hey guys, welcome or welcome back. Tisha here to discuss something that I wasn't sure whether or not I was going to talk about. Now, some of you are familiar with it because you've heard about the case or because you may have watched I think it's Getting Real, my crime episode that I did regarding Gypsy. But we need to talk about some stuff here. So Gypsy was, and in my opinion, continues to be failed by all of the people that surround her. I'm talking about her mother, her doctors, and her family too. So am I surprised that she's doing the crap that she's doing currently? No, I am not. The girl went from just living with her mother and being abused by her mother and being harmed by her mother, both emotionally and physically, as well as doctors, because they gave her things and did things to her that her body didn't even require, to having her mother unalive, to going to jail, to being engaged in 2018, then to separating from that man in 2019, then to meeting her current husband in 2020, marrying him in the summer of 2022, to being released in December of 23, and now filing for divorce in April of 24. So am I surprised that she has currently been spotted hanging out with that same ex who she told us in the Lifetime special broke her heart just a few days after she's filed from divorce from her current husband? No, I'm not, because she's been doing different things that would make you pause. Let me give you an example. Ryan. Don't listen to the haters. Gypsy wrote this on Instagram on January 2nd underneath a November selfie of him. I love you and you love me. We do not owe anyone anything. Our family is who matters. If you get likes and good comments, great. If you get hate, then whatever, because they don't matter. I love you. Besides, they're jealous because you're rocking my world every night. Yeah, I said it. The D is fire. Say what? I said what? Sorry, I keep seeing, because I literally copied it off of the thing, and it says the D is fire, and there's the fire sign. Okay, get it together. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I was looking a little bit sideways at Gypsy and her story. I did look at things here and there on the internet. I did check her Instagram from time to time. Did I follow her on TikTok? No. Did I follow her on Facebook? No. But I was lurking. I was lurking in the shadows. I was. I gotta be honest. I was. I saw how Gypsy Rose was told to chill out on her social media posts by her parole officer. I saw the various comments about how Gypsy should not be out or she should be out and all those other things. But at this point, I feel like it's bigger than all of that. I feel like Gypsy needs therapy and she needs to stop jumping from man to man and jumping on social media every other day, or have other people report to places like TMZ and People and all these other things. Proves that she needs to slow down. We are talking about a person who was traumatized and abused for years. Regardless if we like to agree with it or not, or admit it or not, I feel like Gypsy feeds off of the drama. I need her to stop worrying about these men and start learning about who she is. For years, she was taught to be someone or something she was not. She is manipulative, in my opinion, in watching her and seeing some of the comments and watching the Lifetime special that she did, just like her mother, regardless if she sees it or not. In the documentary on Lifetime, she said everything that she has done since she got in prison was for her to be able to be paroled. I'm not saying that that doesn't make sense, because every person who were in the situation would probably do the same thing. But something about the statement seemed like it was very calculating to me. It just does. And I feel like there were so many instances where the people around her were not protecting her, where they saw things, her father included, because you saw things and you let it slide and you claim you were doing this and you claim you were doing that, but you allow her to move wherever she moved with your kid. And once you found out where she was at, you didn't do anything else to try to get her. The girl was in papers and on documentaries and all these other things. And where were you? I'm just saying. Gypsy Rose Blanchard. I got this from People as well as E! Online. I will put the links in the bio because I'm cutting a lot of it out. I just wanted to talk about some key things. Gypsy Rose Blanchard is soaking up some time with her family and her ex-fiance Ken after filing for divorce from her husband Ryan Scott Anderson earlier this month. On April 27th, Ken spent some quality time with Gypsy, who is now 32, as well as Gypsy's father Rod and her stepmother Christy. Personally, I don't trust a man that is so quick to reunite with a person and be captured with her. I don't care if they were previously dating or not. The fact that he reunited with her so quickly after her announcement of her separation, the fact that he's so quick to be sharing photos of the two of them on Instagram makes me feel like he's looking for a little bit of attention and opportunity as well. According to photos shared on Ken's Instagram page, the group attended the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival near Rod and Christie's home in Cutoff, Louisiana, where Gypsy has currently been staying since the split, because she split up with Ryan, and I'm assuming that she moved out because it was probably his apartment. Even though it's a 2-bedroom apartment, she moved out. So Gypsy and Ken posed for a solo shot, smiling and interlocking their arms as they stood side by side in the street together. In this shot, you can see Gypsy's arm ink, which was a husky dog that her friend, her ex-fiance, Ken, got that tattoo as well as a symbol of their strong bond. Her cousin, Bobby, I don't know how to say his last name, Pitre, Petrie maybe, who owns the tattoo parlor that the pair visited together, told People earlier this month. A bond to me with a man in your Lifetime documentary that you said broke your heart and left you, I wouldn't be getting a tattoo with him. Gypsy's outing comes less than a month after she called off her marriage with her estranged husband, Anderson, who's 36, after less than 2 years. The now separated couple first connected in 2020 while Gypsy was still in prison for the murder of her mother, Dee Dee. They tied the knot in July of 22 when Gypsy was still behind bars. That alone to me is a flag on the play. You have known this lady for not even 2 years. You don't know what she's like on the outside world. Me personally, there's no way that I would marry someone who is in prison unless I knew them previously, because what you're getting when they're in prison sometimes, not all the time, is the best version of themselves, because they got to have somewhere to go once they get out. Gypsy was released in December 28 of 2023, and less than 4 months later, she announced her separation from Ryan. Ken proposed to Gypsy while she was still behind bars in October 2018. Then they briefly called up their engagement, and then they reunited again in August 2019, which lets me know that turnaround with her calling quits with him, or him calling quits with her, and her meeting Ryan wasn't even a year. Say what again? Say what? So let me get this straight. The engagement with Ken was called off in August of 2019, like I said. And then she connected with this other man? Dang, Gypsy. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. She needs time to herself. She, in that documentary video, I quote, "He left me and broke my heart." This is in the Prison Confessions Lifetime story. Ken's mom, Raina Williams, confirmed to People that he and Gypsy linked up again after the split, a few days after her announcement. Yes, they got matching ink, but they are just friends. That's mighty convenient, if you ask me, that they met up directly after that. Makes me wonder if they had been in communication before the announcement, because that's a big jump to where he broke your heart. When did you reconnect to even speak to him, to meet up in person with him? Because he broke your heart, remember? His mom claims they're strictly platonic. Everybody's saying that. They're very cool. Ken's just being a supportive friend to her, and that's it. I don't know how to tell the mama this, but you're not getting no no matching husky tattoo with your ex-fiance who is just your friend to support them. Let's talk about the article from E. It's by Olivia Evans. Gypsy Blanchard is ready to open up. Open up what? What is she ready to open? 5 months after her release from prison, the 32-year-old announced she was working on a memoir, which will hit shelves in January 2025. My Time to Stand is about reclaiming my footing so others can be inspired to walk a life of purpose and meaning and build a future sturdy enough so others can stand for something too, she explained in a statement to People. I'm going to get into this probably a little bit more, but I don't think that Gypsy is in any position to inspire others or to tell others how to stand when Gypsy still doesn't know who Gypsy is. Yes, you were able to complete, I don't know if she got her GED, or I know she said she graduated in the documentary, but I don't know from what. Yes, you were able to further your education and things of that nature, but you lack basic skills and if you were sheltered all your life, and if it was just you and your mom for such a significant point in time during those key developmental years, there are going to be things that you lack and areas where you need work in. She says, I'm in love with the title of my book, not only because it addresses the questions I get most, but because in our pain and struggle, we can find what it is that we want to stand for. In 2015, Gypsy and her then boyfriend, Nicholas Godejohn, were arrested for their involvement in the murder of Gypsy's mother. Gypsy served 7 years in prison for a second-degree murder, while Nicholas is still serving life. In processing and retelling my memories, so much more truth has been revealed to me, including the victimization of the other people in my family and community. I hope to engage readers by describing my journey instead of explaining it, and that way others might see themselves in my story too and relate. And the My Time to Stand specifically calls back to times I felt empowered to literally stand up as I was forced in a wheelchair by my mother, and now I've grown since being incarcerated. I don't know if I believe it. And you all tell me what you think down below, but I don't know if I believe it. I don't feel like she's in a position. If you want to tell us your story, tell us your story, but don't act like you're all the way out of it yet. You haven't even been out for a year yet. You left from one situation and got into another because you went from being this person who was locked up for this time with your mom. Then you were locked up again in jail. Then you come out and you're with this man and you're now a wife, and now you left him. Figure out who you are. Get an actual job. Do something that really does empower you. The first time I stood up on my own 2 feet was my first failed attempt to leave my mother. I had the legs of a chick struggling to find a way out the cracks, Gypsy's statement continued. Who hasn't felt unsturdy like that in their own life? The second time I stood up, I walked down a path I'll regret forever. Again, too many people feel this way about their choices. The third time I stood up, I did so as an incarcerated woman, who had so much to learn about independence, self-forgiveness, and resilience. Through writing my memoir, I shared that I found purpose, and I hope others will find it while reading it. I don't know how I feel about this, because 3 months after your release, you're broken up with your husband. People are asking what's going on. You make the announcement on Facebook in a private page that, people have been asking. I broke up. Unfortunately, we're going through a separation, and I moved with my parents down by the bayou. You should have been with your parents in the first place. But I think that Gypsy didn't want to be with her parents because Gypsy wasn't able to do what she wanted to do. And I think that Gypsy came out wanting to just be. Now, TMZ and other sources have talked about some of the complaints and why she broke up, talking about how her husband is overweight and how he hoards food and how he sweats a lot when he sleeps and how he snores and all those other things. And we know there were claims that she experienced some form of I don't know what type of abuse that was, but she said that as well. They also say in this article that Gypsy underwent a nose job and that her transformation is going to be documented on another Lifetime Gypsy Rose Life After Lockup in the summer of 2024. I feel like she's doing too much too soon. And part of it is because of people like me who are tuned in. Something's got to give, because this isn't going to get any better. It's going to get worse. She's going to pick up the pace on this. I can only imagine what we're going to be seeing now that she is separated. But I feel like it's just thing after thing after thing after thing. And she needs to take this time to get out of the spotlight and focus on her, not all this other stuff. Go ahead and get whatever, profit you make. Supposedly, on TikTok, she's saying that her husband, over $6,000 of her money from TikTok was put into his PayPal, and he hasn't contacted her to give her back said money, but she has a restraining order against him. So why would he contact you to give you back that money? It's just all these little different things that have come out from either her or her camp. And I want the people around her to shut up and sit down and tell her to do the same. If you want to do your memoir, do it. But a lot of what Gypsy says, I take with a grain of salt. I just watch her in the documentary and I struggle with figuring out what's truth and what's lie. Because as she said herself, she learned at a very young age how to lie. And I feel like you being incarcerated and you saying you got therapy here and there and you admitting on camera that it was barely any and you feel like you need more shows me that you may not be in the place to divulge so much information if you're not going to really be honest about what it is that you're telling us. But that's all I have. You all let me know what you think down below. Should Gypsy kind of chill out a little bit and not be so vocal right now? Should she focus on herself? I could be wrong. You tell me what you think. Until next time.